Hey guys, good morning. How are y'all doing today? Today's just a beautiful day. It really is. I woke up, got some sunshine, and I'm just like, heck yeah, let's go. But alrighty. So I just want to go ahead and say that welcome to my stream. Hi Shiloh. Hi Lacey Lou. And I just wanted to say that first off, this is going to be a longer live because Miss Katie Joy decided to do almost 2 hours worth of Instagram on this day. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I have a couple of things to say. But I want to give a trigger warning first and foremost that she does talk about ABUSE. I do edit that out. And I have edited a whole bunch of her the first part of this. I've edited it because, to be honest with you, to be honest with you, she got a little boring. But all right, so let me just say, let me just say, I wanted to add in the first part of this as well as the second part of it, which is more of what I want to talk about. I wanted to add in all of this because of the simple fact of I want to show you how Katie Joy was in the beginning. Hi, Susan, you're not missing it. Yay! But I wanted to show you how the night started, and then we're going to show the contrast of how the night ended. So, the beginning of it, like I said, I want to issue a trigger warning about it because she's okay, she's all over the place. Hi, RL. Good morning. She is all over the place, man. I've already been out with my horses this morning, and did they give me a run for my money? Oh yes, they most certainly did this morning. They were all hyped up and happy to see Mama when Mama came out this morning. So I was like, I already scheduled my live, so I kind of can't stay and play with my horses. So we're just gonna go ahead and do the live, and then I'll go back out with my horses because yeah, that's a fun thing to do. But this one's gonna be a little bit more serious, just a little bit. And I like to laugh at Katie Joy, and y'all know that I really like to laugh at Katie Joy. But some of the things she talks about, I really can't laugh about it. And I know that this live stream has already been out there. Other people have covered it, but I have a different way of covering Katie Joy. I really do. So, I'm interested in y'all's opinions about this, and we're just going to go ahead and coffee country music. Janet, if I could play country music, I'd play country music. Let me tell you, if I could, I most certainly would. Because let's be honest, I kind of jam in my own head. I really do. I put my headphones on. Morning, Jen. I'm glad you got to join me this morning. But so if y'all are easily triggered by Katie Joy, I'm telling you right now, some of the things she talks about in this first part, it's kind of like, well, yeah. But I wanted to show a difference. You've been mainly the replay crew, silent watcher. Oh, doing dishes. Yep, I had to do dishes this morning too. You had extra kids at the house this weekend. Yeah, and you got to reclaim your house. I got to reclaim everything at some point. But yeah, not going to be anytime soon, Jen. Yeah. Well, one day we're going to do a live stream out in the pasture with the horses. We're going to do that one day. We most certainly are, but I got to figure it out first. Okay, so that I'm not wasting too much of y'all's time, we're going to get into this first part of Miss Katie Joy. Like I said, the reaction part that I want to do is kind of the second part of it. So if you want to skip through to maybe halfway through this live, I will try my best to put the timestamp in the comments for people that just want to hear the Amy drama. That's completely understandable for people that want to just hear that. I will try my best when this is over with to put the timestamp in and everybody can just go listen to that because I know some people don't like listening to her when she gets on a Duggar rant and things like that. So let's just go ahead and start this morning with Miss Katie Joy, and we're going to see what she has to say in this first part. And y'all notice how she looks in this first part. I'm not saying anything bad, just notice how she looks in this first part, okay?
Good evening, everyone. Hi guys.
Good evening, Katie Joy.
How is everyone? Is everyone good? Having a good day? Okay, so I did not upload 2 days in a row.
And see, her not uploading 2 days in a row has people questioning. It really, really does. It already has people questioning. And no, Susan, I haven't heard anything else about Todd Chrisley. I honestly haven't.
That is not because I didn't want to. It was because I had a lot of research to do. And I have been I've been really thinking about what I want to do with my channel this year. It's a new year, obviously, and I've grown quite a bit, which is affording me a little bit more flexibility in that I don't have to chug out so much content as I had to before. I can be a little bit more mindful, and I can just spend more time putting stuff out that I think is better researched, more just better overall content for you.
But she's probably still going to do the Duggar content and stuff like that. But she's kind of admitting, in my opinion, and everything, and here's my opinion, just like the banner says, she's still going to jump to put out stories. Just my opinion.
Not to mention, I feel like I'm still getting over this yuck that I've had it for like 3 weeks. So I haven't really fully recovered from not feeling good. But it's the end of the month. And so I worked really hard this month. I worked really hard last month. And I'm trying to just think about what I want to do with my platform this month or this year. And, it's wonderful to sit there and talk about the nonsense that happens online and talk about the gossip. But something I've wanted to move away from a lot is that gossip aspect.
Well, good morning, Kira. Good morning, sweet Melissa. And she's just wanting to move away from the gossip. Do we really believe that? I mean, honestly, do we really believe she's going to move away from the gossip? Not really. Not to me.
Of that world, because I don't find it productive. I feel like when we start focusing on who's getting married or who's pregnant or what distraction you think you saw today, people kept sending me this photo of Michelle. They kept saying she was wearing pants. She was not wearing pants. If you went to Sun's website, it was very clear that she had a skirt on. But again, it was just another way for people to distract and not look at the moving, just, follow the bouncing ball. Don't pay attention to what's really happening. Look at her.
But she's bringing it up. She's talking about it. So she's still talking. I mean, she's still gossiping about what's going on.
Her wearing a skirt over leggings and think it's pants, and that's just not relevant to me. I don't care what they wear anymore. I don't care if they're married. I don't care if they're getting pregnant. That's literally all they do. So what I've been doing has been what's called following the money. So one of the big parts in all cults and all, you want to call it, like anytime there has been a crime, and in this case, Josh Duggar's crime, there's usually a money trail, and there's usually, ways that you can dissect like how things went on as long as they went on. And usually there is a way to kind of understand like why people didn't speak out or why people didn't do what they were supposed to do.
Yes, she is still on the Josh Duggar thing. Very much so. She is still on the Josh Duggar thing.
Because in the world that I live in, and I don't know, mind you, oh, hey, Hannah. Hey, sweetheart. In the world that I live in, if something happens that's really bad, and if something goes horribly wrong and somebody's a child, the last thing that I would be doing would be sitting still and not saying anything. I would be reporting that to the authorities, as hard as that would be. If one of my friends had a child that was assaulting one of their sisters or one of their brothers, I would be reporting that to the police or to CPS. I would not be idly standing by, twiddling my thumbs, acting like nothing was happening, or profiting off and benefiting from the fame.
I kind of wonder at this point, is she setting this up to be talking about Amy? And hi, Joni. Welcome to the stream. I kind of started thinking at this point, was this to kind of talk about Amy just a little bit?
Of the family. Now, in fairness, not every single person that was around them knew what Josh was doing, and it seems like Jim Bob did a pretty good job of those that did know into keeping them quiet. But again, I don't think that any amount of money is worth it to me to stand by and keep somebody else's secret. So if I would have been in the position, and I get it, like some of these people probably felt like they didn't have a choice, or they felt like they were up against a humongous machine.
And I don't know who all she's talking about throughout all of this. I mean, she just kind of hits on here and there, and she just kind of goes everywhere for a little bit. And I was kind of like, all right, Katie Joy, we gotta stay in a little lane. This would go a lot smoothly if you stay in just a little bit. But y'all see what I'm talking about.
A lot of the people that knew or had an idea of what was going on, or maybe didn't know but knew aspects of what was happening in that house, still ultimately had some sort of benefit that they received. And so I was thinking about all these different friends, that they had throughout the years that just couldn't that wall, or couldn't report things, or maybe they felt like after 2006 and they dropped the case, there was nothing more that they could do. Maybe they felt like that was it or something. But then I would have thought, well, gosh, if you know, so then I thought, like, if you would have known, oh, your heart is broken, honey. I'm sorry, honey bun.
See, she actually paid attention to the comments just for a second. So she's got her comments on. So good job, Katie Joy.
So I'm sure there was a lot of people that were lied to by the Duggars, and I'm sure there was a lot of people that just didn't know. But I think a lot of them did know about the corporal punishment. A lot of them knew about the spanking. A lot of them knew about the discipline. And a lot of them didn't do anything or say anything. And sure, Jim Bob paid people off. A lot of people did pay people off. Jim Bob did pay a lot of people off, like theoretically. I don't know if it was actual payoffs.
And guys, her audio actually goes, I don't know what happened exactly, but her voice is not matched up to her mouth moving. So I'm sorry about that.
But something just hasn't sat right with me since the trial. And it's revolved around the testimony of people in the trial that almost, I was proud that they spoke out, and I was proud that they did the right thing. But as I've sat in that and I've really thought about it, I'm like, why did it take this long to do the right thing? Like, why did it take today or last month or a year ago to do the right thing? Why?
So she's been thinking about this since the trial. Hi, Phyllis. So this must be something that's been really weighing on her, and this must be something that she keeps on her mind.
Why did it take that long to share? And if you were so upset and so disconcerted and so outraged by what you knew and what was happening in that house, why didn't you just cut them off? Why wouldn't you, if that's true, would you still associate with them? Because in my mind, if you had a friend that had a child that was sexually sisters, the last thing I would be doing is letting that kid work on my campaign, having a relationship with the family still. I wouldn't want that family around my family because I wouldn't feel safe. I wouldn't feel safe that something couldn't happen to my kids. I wouldn't feel safe because the way that they handled it the first time, that it would be handled better the second time. And then I was like, okay, whether someone's being into silence, bought into silence, I value my child more than anything, and I don't think you could put a number. You can't put a number on anything. You can't put a dollar sign on saving a child from future abuse or saving.
So I do agree with her there. Hi, Lori. I do agree with her there. You can't put a price on it. You really can't.
Children from being. And if I knew about it, I would report it to police, and I certainly wouldn't have my children around them anymore, and I wouldn't be interacting with them anymore. I just wouldn't. And I think the challenging part here is that when you start to I started looking at the political aspect of it, because the Duggars were very into politics.
Why does she always do that, though? Why does she have to go political with it? What's the point? And yes, she does go on for a little bit about this, and I'm just kind of like, what's the point in this? But y'all got to see the first part to get to the second part of it.
And so were the Holts. And the Holts didn't have the same kind of money as the Duggars. And because of that, I'm guessing they stood to gain from the audience that the Duggars drew in. The Duggars could help them campaign. The Duggars could help them raise money. The Duggars could donate to them for whatever races that Jim wanted to run for. And I guess I didn't really expect this. I wasn't like looking, I wasn't thinking that I would find this, because I honestly believed when they publicly said that things were cut off in 2006, I didn't expect to find the Duggars listed on the campaign donations for the Holts in 2010. Everyone, it's like
guys, I don't know anything about the Holts. I really, really don't. I stay kind of away from this whole Duggar and that word Duggar thing. Hi, Southern Born. I stay out of. I'm sorry, Southern Born. I really am. Medical issues are hard. I stay away from the whole. Most of the majority of Katie Joy's posts, I don't even read all the way through, because I know she's going to do something crazy anyways on either her channel or Instagram. So it just goes hand in hand.
What do you call that? Internet, like it's like lore. It's like folklore. It's that story that's been living on the internet for years, where Josh Duggar was working on Jim Holt's 2006 campaign. Which again, why was he working on that campaign if you were concerned about what he was doing? And why were they giving this kid so many chances if they knew that his behavior had escalated? That's another thing I don't understand. Like, I would have been like, bye. Urban legend, thank you. So everyone knows the story about how Josh was working on the campaign, and while he was working on the campaign, he was caught like looking at on the web, on their internet.
I didn't know that, so not everybody knows that. Nope, not everybody knows that. I didn't know that.
Right? And so while they were looking at the or whatever it was, there was this quote, and I don't know who said it. I don't know if Josh said it. I don't know if Jim Holt said it. I don't know if Jim Bob said it, but the quote was that there was like evil in the camp, and the evil in the camp is why Jim Holt lost his race, or something like that. Like, that's the urban legend that has been sitting on Free Ginger for years.
Did y'all even know there was a Free Ginger? That caught me by surprise. And RL, I've heard something about that. I have, but I haven't gone any further into it. Hi, Nikki.
And I just want to give a shout out to the Free Ginger page. Like, I don't know if they like me, I don't know if they hate me, but that specific blog or forum has been on to the Duggars from day one. And if you go back into their archives from when the show started, this forum was sharing who the Duggars were, and people that knew the Duggars were in these forums sharing what they knew. It was on.
It's kind of like Duggar Snark is what it's kind of like, just to me. But I've never really heard of, Free Ginger. I've never really heard of that.
On the internet, who Josh was and what he was doing and what he had done to his sisters. It was just, for some reason, not picked up, or what? Who are you? Okay, you're getting picked up.
See, she has to go and block people. It's like, woman, what are you doing? And yeah, I can do kind of like this, and during this part of it, I'm just like, woman, what are you doing?
By the mainstream media. I just got rid of Mercy. I think she was counting the number of times I said like. The haters.
There you go. For whoever just said how many times is she going to say like, there you go.
I think it's weird if I say like, or if I say literally, or if I say actually. I don't know. Do you want me to say or do you want me to say like? Sometimes when I'm talking, I just have this tendency to say like. Okay, so, whoa, it's so annoying how you say like all the time. Or I touched my hair. People say that I
paused it too soon, but yeah, touching her hair and touching her face. Those two as well. I'm
vain because I touched my hair. I don't know that I'm vain. It's more like, it's a habit. Plus, it's really staticky right now. Hannah, you are so cute. I want to talk to you sometime. Okay, so anyways, I was actually kind of shocked because I was looking at, so the urban legend was that there was evil in the campaign, right? And that because of the evil in the campaign, that's why whoever lost. Now, the story goes that it was about Jim Holt's campaign. Now, other people told me that it was actually Jim Bob Dogger who said it, and it was about Jim Bob's campaign. And depending on who you speak to and who benefits from the story, it's sort of like, whatever. So,
y'all take notice of how she's smiling. Y'all just take notice of how she's smiling and she's having a good time talking about this. I didn't know that.
I would have assumed that after that period, and they realized that he hadn't gotten better and he was still, the sad thing is about all of this is that the boys that grow up in this world, and even the girls, they're not allowed to have any sort of sexuality at all. Like, it is natural for you and I, any child that's growing in the coming of age, it's natural. Hormones take over. We learn about our bodies. We have hormonal urges. We are curious in the opposite sex or the same sex, regardless.
I don't understand why she got on this subject. I really don't. Whenever I say that she goes everywhere, I'm telling you, she just goes everywhere. Yes, Joni.
Whoever you're attracted to, honestly, I don't. Love is love. And it's natural to have those feelings, but they're not allowed to have those feelings. And so when everything is deemed horrible and sinful, it is so easy for these kids to just fly off the handle, because it's almost as though one misstep and they're going to go to hell. So they might as well really go to hell and just dive all in.
She's saying HE double hockey sticks. Yep, I edited that out.
And really get into the sin. I mean, if the sin is no different, if the sin is the same, regardless of what is the sin, what's stopping them from doing the worst if they've already felt like they've sinned? And they've been taught that rebellion is akin to witchcraft. And so if they're going to rebel, why don't they go? It's like, go big or go home is what they say, right? So go big or go home. And then they're told that normal exploration of their sexuality and of just being a human is wrong. And that's a huge problem in this culture, because there's nothing wrong with human sexuality and there's nothing wrong with normal exploration of your sexuality, nor is there anything wrong with kissing someone or having a boyfriend or having a girlfriend, making out. If you want to have consensual outside of marriage, there's nothing wrong with that if you're in a relationship.
Why she's on this topic, I really do not know, guys. I'm serious. I do not know. She just continues to go on and on and on. And Shiloh, if you gotta go, that's okay. It really is. If I have no moderators, that's okay. It really is.
Relationship and you're both consenting and it's both what you want to do, as long as you're safe and you're having responsible conversations with your partner, that is ultimately up to you. And the children are not taught that they can have any sex outside of marriage, and everything is a sin. I mean, even kissing, holding hands, side hugs, whatever. I mean, it's all wrong, which again, if you're going to go in, go all in, right? So go big or go home. So, I would have assumed. Now, here's the thing with Josh is I don't think that it started with an intrigue. I don't think that it was something as simple as I don't think it was as easy as he was just curious about girls.
See, I don't think she should be saying stuff like this. And Shiloh, you melt my heart. You do. But I don't think she should say stuff like this and start putting stuff like this out there, or even the suggestion out there. I just don't think she should be doing that.
The more I've learned about this family, I think I told you at one point they had like 20 some people living in their house because Clark Wilson was there helping them build the larger home, the big house. Their house was chaos. There was so many people in this tiny home that had like 2,000 square feet. There was lack of supervision of the kids. And I think Josh was exposed to something. I think
see what she's putting out there? I mean, it just sounds wrong, and it's not something that needs to be put out there. In my opinion, it just doesn't need to be put out there.
It's impossible with the number of predators that have been around Jim Bob over the years and the number of people. He's just surrounded by so many pedophiles and so many rapists that, I tried to think about this in my own context. Like, I don't know any rapists. Well, okay, besides the man that raped me, like, I don't have this like plethora of rapists that are around me that I know, that I'm friendly with, that I interact with. But these people were coming in and out of his house at all times. And it's something.
Yeah, and she's already done a live stream about this. I mean, she really has. Nikki, you made a video yesterday. Oh, goes too fast.
Hey, Mara.
Something had to have happened to Josh.
Oh, sorry.
I firmly believe that. Who did it? I don't know. But something happened to him. There was plenty of people around him that could have done it because so many of these different people around him were bad people.
But do y'all see what she's putting out there? I mean, honestly, it doesn't sound good whatsoever at all. It sounds like she's putting out there that, somebody did something to Josh, and it's bad to insinuate things like that.
So if somebody did something to Josh, and I bring this up not out of the blue because there's actual data that supports that children who are assaulted or exposed to sex at a young age, it's called acting out. They don't know what they're doing is wrong because it's happened to them at a young age. So for them, they're sort of, it's like their body's way of acting out what's happened to them. And so because he was hiding it from other people. And I want to make this point clear. Not every child that is assaulted acts out, and not every child that acts out becomes a and not every child that acts out becomes a long time. But
she's talking a lot about this, but me just listening to the things that she's saying about Josh, I'm just kind of like,
you have to get the kids help. They have to get the right counseling. You have to take care of what's happened to the child for them to actually deal with it. And then so that it doesn't so it doesn't manifest and get bigger and worse. And there was so much chaos.
I believe in getting kids counseling if they need it. I do. Therapy, everything. I believe that they need it. I believe in it.
Us in that house. And I've seen this now in a lot of these large families. There's so much chaos. There's not enough bonding with parents and kids. There's not enough attention to the kids and the parent, between the kids and the parents. And the kids, because they're not allowed to have emotions and they're taught not to react, and they have to in the IBLP, they're taught to be perfect. Literally, if you look at some of the literature for the IBLP, they have pages on striving for perfection. So
why does she have the literature on this stuff? How deep is she gonna go? It's just amazing to me. Hi, Jenny Lee.
If your whole goal in life is to be perfect and you're not allowed to have feelings and you have to shut down every aspect of you, it almost creates, and then you don't get the nurturing because the parents are trying to follow rules to be perfect, and they're not hugging their kids enough. They're not kissing. Because they're told if they hug and kiss their kids too much, that their kids are going to become spoiled. They're told if they praise their kids are going to become spoiled. Literally, there's stuff in the IBLP where it talks about if you flatter your child, your kid's going to become a bad, bratty kid. And so they don't even get.
But, this isn't to sound mean or anything, but a lot of people say the same thing about Katie Joy with her son, about hugging him and stuff like that. People, they have their thoughts and their opinions about that, about her not doing enough of that with her own son.
Like kind words said to them. And there's factual data that exists. And I would love if it would be so amazing if the Amazon docuseries could get and I don't know if they will or not, I don't know anything about it, But I was thinking, wouldn't
Y'all just imagine if she was part of that. Yeah, just imagine if she was part of that.
it be cool if they could get a child development expert to come in and talk about what that lack of nurturing and like suppression of emotion does to a child? Because if you read about child development, when you have lack of nurturing and suppression of emotions, you can foster personality disorders, and it creates like antisocial personality disorders. It can sociopaths, borderline personality disorder. It can, and then you've got the trauma from being beaten.
Doesn't she sound like she just knows so much? Didn't she? She just sounds like she knows so much, and she knows just everything about everything, you know?
It could be narcissistic. There's just a whole embodiment of, because they didn't get the attachment that they needed. And the parentification of the older girls. Yes. The parentification.
As y'all can tell, she's got her a little bit of something to drink. So, yeah.
Of the girls, too. The lack of validation, she says, is enough. Oh, hi, Katie. Katie Anderson's notebook. I love her pic.
So, guys, she still has her comments on. I was sitting there going, yay. Hi, Rona. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Ash.
Pictures. Yeah, reactive attachment disorder. There's so many disorders that can happen when you don't get enough nurturing. Complex PTSD. Hi, Amy. There's a lot of different things that can happen. But I also think that Jim Bob's like a raging narcissist. So there's this other aspect with the Duggars that I think is very interesting, and that's that they lie about everything. And I don't.
They lie about everything. Yeah, she just put that out there.
Think that that's like, you can say that they're taught to lie with the IBLP, but if you go onto the message boards and if you talk to people, particularly that new Mary Duggar, they will tell you that she might.
Why is she still talking about Mary Duggar? I don't get this. And I just, Katie Joy.
Might have been sweet, but she had a problem with telling the truth, and that she might have been kind of a pathological liar, and she just kind of lied about everything. So if you have the matriarch of a family lying, and it could have been to protect her husband. There's also urban legends out there about Jimmy, J.L. Duggar, about, and Jim Bob even wrote about this in the book, his dad and his mom having a very volatile relationship, and his dad being a horrible provider, and his dad swindling away their money. There's rumors online about infidelity and all kinds of things.
I just thought didn't she just say in the beginning of this, hi, Mandy, didn't she just say in the beginning of this she was going to stay away from gossip? Just asking.
Happened between them, the two, and that Mary had to kind of be the glue and deal with his erratic behavior. And there's rumors online about his temper and him being which I guess back in the 60s when he had the kids, I guess that's not obscene to think about that. I mean, that was more normal then than it is today. But at the same time, again, so Josh has never had responsibilities. Josh has been, the IBLP has this really big thing about firstborns, okay? So to understand the IBLP, you have to understand that they have this weird obsession with birth order. And they will...
She just knows a lot about the IBLP. She's been doing this for a couple of years now.
Say that birth order is like, they tell parents to really pour their lives into their firstborn. The firstborn is the person that, that's the first child that God gave you. That's the placeholder for the family, the one that's going to have the most responsibility, the one that you get by themselves, for the however period of time it is that you have them. They are obsessed with firstborns, and they're obsessed with first boys, because the boys take on the namesake. They become the heir of the family. They become the patriarch once the father dies. And then you add into...
So what is she saying? Because, that's Josh in this indication.
Jim Bob was very shy not a great public speaker, kind of a dork.
Well, isn't that a nice thing to say, Katie Joy? Oh my goodness gracious.
Kind of uncomfortable around people. And Josh had an ease with people that he could just talk and say anything and do whatever. And he wasn't shy and wasn't afraid. And he had charisma as a child. And so people were would naturally gravitate to him. And so in many ways, I think Jim Bob saw Josh as an extension of what he wanted to be and a personality that he didn't have and skills that he couldn't have. And so
is she trying to say that Jim Bob is jealous of Josh?
Jim Bob, in many ways, used Josh as the face of the family. So Josh took on the role of speaking for the family and marketing for the family. But yeah, he does have the charisma of a psychopath. Yes. But when he was a child, he wasn't probably a psychopath yet. So anyways, I've just been like all over the place.
You're right there, Katie Joy. You have been all over the place. You are 100% right there. I'm not going to disagree with that. You have been all over the place. And this just gets better. It does. The second part of this.
Jim Bob had a lot of thought, had a lot of dreams. And I think he also had problems with control. And I think he had an agenda and he had a show to sell. And he had money he was making in huge contracts. And the show must go on. I talked to a lot of people that know them, and that was the big thing, is that the show must go on. The show must go on. So I think a lot about how when you have a show and you have to protect the show and you've got to protect the show at all costs. And TLC, once TLC comes in, they are controlling the image. They're controlling their social media. They're controlling what they can post. They're sanitizing the family down and not allowing the family to.
Well, any television show is going to want, they're not going to want the nasty stuff out there. They're not going to want the bad stuff out there. They're not going to want all that.
Act how they act. They are removing parts of their narratives and their lives that are not marketable. So in the very early days, you would see the Duggars speaking about spanking, speaking about more controversial topics like not agreeing with homosexuality and being very outspoken about being pro-life and very against just controversial topics. They were very against transgender people getting rights to having bathrooms, and that didn't fit the TLC's agenda, and that wasn't marketable for advertisers. So
well, if you think about it, TLC was just, trying to be what TLC is. I mean, just look at the network itself.
They had to sanitize it. So they stopped making those comments. They stopped responding. And then after 2015 happened with Josh's scandal, it all stopped. So the political part of them and how political they were, when Josh left the show, they kind of left the politics alone, and they left the controversial feelings and thoughts alone. And then they turned it into some sort of like family friendly, we're all going to be doing the family, stuff, and we're going to have babies and it's going to be great. TLC is very toxic. So anyways,
see, why would she say that? She just said that TLC was trying to keep everything just, calm, cool, and collected, and now then she's saying they're toxic.
All of that was going on, there was all these people in their lives that were benefiting from the Duggars' success, so that even if they didn't agree with them, they could maybe turn a blind eye to some of the behavior because they would receive a benefit from it. So the Holts might not have agreed with what Josh was doing, but it didn't stop the Duggars from donating to Jim Holt's 2010 campaign. And that's what shocked me, is they donated $500, I think, total to that campaign and helped them.
Why does it matter if somebody donates to a campaign? I don't understand this. And I don't. Like I said, we'll get into the Amy part. It's coming, but I want y'all to see how we progress from this into what we're going into.
Fundraise and did campaign they went to like a pro-life rally with them, and they did like events with them to help them raise money, and they raised not a ton for a U.S. Senate race, but, I'm certain that they would not have been able to raise that kind of money without the Duggars' help. So then I started thinking about it, and I was like, so were you so upset of what Josh had done to the extent that you didn't want your daughter with him, but you weren't that outraged that when you were running for Senate that you had no problem accepting their money, allowing them to help, allowing their fame to help you in your race? You weren't that outraged. I mean, that's what that tells me, because Josh Duggar donated to him, So I thought,
see, what does all of that matter? What does it matter that with what the Duggars do with their money? What does that matter?
If they were so closed off from him and they were so estranged, were they that estranged? I mean, why then in 2017 is Jim Holt getting a piece of property from Jim Bob for $0?
Why are you looking into this stuff?
It's right there, $0 in 2017. This was in 2017. So you got a piece of property, $0. Now, interestingly, I think, could Jim Bob have been paying for their silence by helping them with campaigns and giving them property? I don't know. And in fairness, I don't know if they had an arrangement behind the scenes where they paid Jim Bob off.
If you don't know about something, you just don't talk about it. I mean, to be honest with you, that's just the way I feel.
Books, but then that would be a tax issue, because you have to declare if you're buying something from someone. So if you're going to pay someone back and you've said that it was a gift and then you actually pay them, that's actually I think that's fraud. You have to declare if you're buying something.
So now she's putting that word out there.
Something, you can't pretend it's a gift if it's not a gift. And I'm not saying that that's what it is, but I'm just saying, if that's what say that they did, that would be, that document wouldn't be accurate then. So it just says $0. So Jim Bob bought that piece of property in 2014. Let me find it. Hold on. I think he bought it for $65,000 in 2014. So
why is she pulling all this up?
Is the same piece of property that he bought in 2014. So Jim Bob bought it for $65,000. You can see the purchase price there. And then when he gave it to the Holtz, it was $0. So
there, sweet Melissa?
Is that a bribe? Is that a payoff? Is that, I don't know. But what I don't understand is
why are you even talking about this? Honestly, why?
So outraged by what Josh is doing, why do you continue to interact with these people? Why would you accept stuff from them? I can show you the donations. This is a donation that he made. This is from Michelle. Michelle actually did two donations. Did two donation, and then this is Josh Duggar donating to Jim Holt.
I wonder how many people she pulls this stuff up on. I really do. I'm sorry, Melissa. I'm not trying to give you a headache. I'm not.
And then this is Jim Bob donating to Jim Holt's campaign in 2010. And then this is Jim Holt talking about how they were visiting our close friends, the Duggars. This was in 2010. They said
hey, I even edited this down.
that they stopped being friends with them in 2006. So why are they calling them close friends in 2010? And why is he using the Duggars name and this is from his campaign page. And then this is from the same time frame. And this is talking about going to a fundraiser, and they're going to go with this time.
How does she have these things from back in 2010?
He calls them their longtime friends. And then this is them in the same year with the Holtz. You can see Joanna in the green on the end, and some of the little guys, you can see them with the Holtz. So that's the Holtz and the Duggars at a pro-life event in 2010. I don't even know what that is. Screenshot of something. So I thought, are they really screening?
Did y'all just catch that? She just pulled up a screenshot. I don't know what that is. It's a screenshot of something, but yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and just put that down really really fast because she's on a roll, guys. She's got herself on a roll.
You mean now when they say finally someone listened to us, is that really how they feel when they were calling them close friends and, best friends or longtime friends and then getting property from them in 2017 and doing rallies with them after all of this happens, still allowing Josh around their family? Are you outraged that nobody would listen to you, or were you silenced and you couldn't say anything? Were you being paid off to stay, to let the machine keep going?
Why is she talking about them being paid off? I mean, I don't understand why she's gotten into all this stuff that she's gotten into. But like I said, it leads into the second part of this.
What was it? And I think what spawned that question in me to do this research was her comment on her Facebook page saying how, now, and I'm not implying that she doesn't think what happened is wrong. I think she doesn't agree with what Josh did. I don't believe that Bobby is some kind of monster or anything like that. I'm sure she has complex feelings about Josh. But something that didn't sit right with me with that comment was that she said that she didn't have a place to rejoice in his conviction, but she kind of did rejoice right after he was convicted.
I don't like it when she starts talking about people but she doesn't reference exactly who she's talking about. She doesn't come out and say, she said that after she made this comment. Well, what in the world? Who is she? Who is she talking about? I don't like it when she does that. When she does the bounce, I don't like that. Yeah, maybe.
Because she said finally someone listens to us, justice was served, she was so happy. And now it's like, I'm sad about the baby boy that I helped raise, that this is who he could become.
Kathleen.
So I understand that you have complex emotions but when you start calling someone a baby boy that's 33 years old, he's not a baby.
Hey now, woman. My son is 18 years old, and I have another one that is 12. And guess what I call them? You just guess what I call them. They are my babies. It does not matter. I have horses that are how many times my size? They are my babies. There is nothing wrong with saying somebody is a baby. I mean, for goodness sake. My husband doesn't say that I'm his baby like baby, but he still says baby. And how many of y'all have spouses that says baby? And yeah, well, that one got me going. Sorry, that one got me going, because just because somebody calls somebody their baby boy does not mean anything, bad all the time. It doesn't, no.
Baby anymore. He hasn't been a baby for years. That it puts him as an infant, as though it was he's innocent in somehow of this. And I'm like, well, how is that even? He's not an infant. And then she is probably.
It has nothing to do with being an infant. Hi, PC 1967.
Getting pressure from the base of these people who think she's being not biblical in rejoicing in someone else's downfall, because again, these people think that they cannot, they have to be perfect all the time. I don't know who's commenting. I can't see it. Now she's feeling guilty for her bad report. She might. I mean, that's a huge part of their belief, is that you're not supposed to gossip, you're not supposed to talebear, you're not supposed to give a negative report. I can't see who it is. Whoever's speaking, I'm not seeing these comments.
This drives me insane. And well, I'm glad you're here, PC 1967. Welcome. Y'all know this drives me insane. Hi, Early 10. Whenever she can't read the comments, she can't see any of this, but she's still on live stream. It just
I don't know I haven't been paying attention to what people are saying. I'm sorry. Okay, McLaren, I got them blocked. Is there someone else that needs to be blocked besides that other person? Was there someone else that was talking? Because I'm not paying attention. Okay, I did get that person out. Okay, so.
She admits that she does not pay attention to her chat. Right there. There you go. You are on live stream and your chat is there. I pay attention to my chat. I really do. And so when you're on chat, the point of it is for the live stream. My opinion alone. But she just admitted. She just admitted.
Oh, I don't know. And then the other question is, I blocked Nurse Rashid already. The other question is why was it okay
See, she's just blocking people. So yes, Mandy, I agree.
for your daughter to be 14? And why were you thinking about your daughter having babies with Josh when she was 14? What is with this community that they're betrothing their children into relationships and saying, yes, you can be married, and then planning their futures and saying he would have been my grandbaby's father and that she was spared. So you're talking about a 14-year-old. It wasn't like they had this intense relationship, for crying out loud. They were 14 years old.
How many times is she going to say that? How many times is she going to say 14 years old?
All had a 14-year-old relationship. It's not like they were, they didn't kiss, they didn't hug, they were never alone. Like, it wasn't that deep. I can't imagine saying to my 14-year-old, yes, when you're 18, yes, you will marry Josh Duggar. Hi, Sojo. Do you want to talk?
Y'all see, she still got her glass. Yeah, I cut a bunch of that out, but she still got her glass.
Sojo, you don't have to show your face, but maybe I could restart a live stream, and you don't have to show your face, but we could talk. I think that would be fun. Love your work. Why would you be telling your 14-year-old that they need to decide that they need to be married? Like, it's just so obscene to me. Like, what do you know at 14 that you think that somebody is going to be your spouse? Anyways, so that part got me, but then it was also frustrating because there is a not so hidden secret, a very open secret about their son-in-law who married their daughter that literally everyone knows. It's not a secret. I heard this from 4 people about her husband, and I was like, okay, so the man that they did end up letting her marry apparently did one of their.
I honestly have lost track of who she's talking about. I honestly, I was editing this and I was like, I have no clue, but we're just gonna go with it.
Siblings, and Jim and this guy talked for 2 years. What kind of father is like, yeah, that's a great prospect for my daughter? Is it that the father thinks that they can control that guy because then that guy has like a secret or something? I mean, listen, I said before that not every single person that offends will become an offender like as an adult, especially if it happens when they're, youth. But again, I still think it's odd that having gone, it's one thing if they said it was too much for Josh, right? Like, they got rid of Josh because he was doing that. But then they didn't. Wouldn't you just want to find someone that didn't do anything to anyone? I mean, are there so few guys in this culture that are not masters that you can't find a master for your daughter? I'm just asking. I mean, and here's the thing. If this
You're also insinuating
person got help, and if they for sure got therapy, that's wonderful. And if this person,
I agree,
has taken accountability for what they've done, that's wonderful.
I agree.
I think it's just so rampant in the cult that you can't find someone that hasn't done that. You would just think that you had gone through it once before and you'd seen what had happened the first time, that you just wouldn't want to go down that path again. What is drawing someone to these kinds of people, and why would someone think that that's a suitable person for their daughter? I mean, and you have to realize that, like,
Southern born, I'm going to go ahead and pause this for a second. I'm sorry, guys. You can report a channel. I'm not for sure about
if you read their love story, this was a situation where this girl didn't want to date him for 2 years and he was still trying to get with her. According to her own Facebook post, he asked her to court her in 2010 and she said no in March or something. And then he asked her to marry her in December of 2010. They hadn't even dated and he was asking her to marry her.
So you're going all the way back to 2010. And still, guys, I don't know what she's talking about.
And she said no. And then they got to know each other in 2011 and then they got married. So her dad was very involved in this from the whole time. I just don't think dads should be that involved in their daughters' relationships. I don't think.
I will argue that point. I will 100% argue that point all day long. I believe that there are dads that are protective of their daughters. And I believe, just my belief, and yes, I'm Southern, but in my belief, there are dads that want to see their daughters end up with amazing men. So they would like to have their opinion on the guy. That's just the way it is.
Dads should be the ones picking who their daughters marry. And I don't think it's up to
It's not so much about dads picking who the daughters marry. That's not the point of it. The point of it is there should still be respect.
Dad to discern if a man has repented enough. Because what if the off chance is that, sure, he was okay for a few years. What happens if you have children with that guy and then he reoffends and he's then already crossed the boundary of going with a sibling, meaning they've already crossed that boundary within. What's preventing them from doing that to their own children? Not to say that it's happened. These are just the questions that I have. Like, wasn't there somebody else? Anyway.
When you put questions like that out there, then people automatically start thinking that way. That's the problem about putting questions like that out there.
Anyone else? Yeah, they have 5 kids now. And I wouldn't talk about this if there wasn't such blatant hypocrisy. And it's been confirmed to me. I asked her and she said yes. So when the person who it's about tells me, yes, this is true, and that he got help, and that he's very outspoken about people getting help, and he uses real therapists, not God. That's great. But I just still think it's weird that these dads, yeah, of course they make deals about their daughters. The dads
really, that?
Barter their kids together. I mean, it's the dads that decide who they're going to get married. These kids are in arranged marriages, and anyone that says otherwise is lying. Jim Bob organizes all of the kids' weddings. He picks their suitors or their partners for them.
Am I wrong for thinking that it was Jill that kind of picked Derek?
And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And if it doesn't work, they have to stay married. There is a marriage manual. The dads are the ones that talk about it before the kids even know anything about it. It does sound a lot like, and I think too. So sometimes I feel like, and this has been the challenging part, and I said this today in a post, is that I think for anyone, if you want to be the beacon of truth and expose the dirty secrets of.
So is KJ supposed to be the beacon of truth? Is she supposed to be the beacon of truth? Is she?
Of the cult that you are in or involved in, then you also have to be transparent about what you are and who you are and what you did. Because you can't point fingers at somebody else and blame them and say they're bad if you're doing the same things.
I think she kind of needs to get a mirror.
Or you're benefiting from it. Just because you did the right thing now doesn't make everything else, doesn't take away all the bad. It doesn't take away. I just keep thinking what if someone would have just stepped in and stopped this and Josh got help? I'd trust my dog over my own instincts. The dad is their first boyfriend. The dad is they're supposed to date.
That's just gross.
Their fathers. I mean, that's kind of how they're taught. The daughters are so they're really into this idea of helpmeet. And so the goal is that the girl is the helpmeet of the father. So while she's under her father's authority, her job in life is to cater to her father in whatever means that means. And some fathers take that to the extreme. And some fathers believe it's their responsibility to teach their daughters how to have sex. I mean, it's that fucked up. Other fathers don't go.
Seriously? Seriously? How? I was editing this and I was like, she didn't mean it that way. There's no way she meant it that way. No, there's no way she meant it that way.
Go that route, but it's, they guard their, and then they'll say that they're not pure because it was training. I mean, they have a way to mental gymnastics themselves into everything. No, it's not biblical. It creates like the father-daughter dating, it creates like emotional insight because the father feels like authority over the daughter's purity. The girl's spending her whole life trying to satisfy her dad. She's wearing clothes to please her father. She's wearing her hair to please her father.
There are kids that wear certain things to go ahead and I pick out my kids' clothes. I really do because they don't ever want to. I mean, I want to make sure that they look good and stuff like that whenever they go places. So I pick out my kids' clothes. I do. Whenever we go shopping, they have the right to pick out their own clothes, but I help them pick out their clothes, especially my youngest, because he's at the age to where he doesn't care what he wears. He doesn't care whatsoever at all. But some of what KJ is saying is just coming across the wrong way, and I'm sorry. It just really is.
They have no boundaries with their father, and their fathers have no boundaries with their daughters, and it creates emotional attachments. And when you've crossed that boundary, it's really creepy. No, so you guys, I have a theory about Jana, but I don't have proof. So,
But even though you have a theory, yeah, we'll continue.
and it's not about, the honeymoon manual that they give to their kids right before they're married. I have it. It's in a tab on my Instagram. You can read it.
Why do you have that? Why? Why do you have that?
They basically tell their kids to like do a bunch of, I don't even know, do sex a lot. Well, okay, so my theory about Jana there's nothing about it. My theory was about this courtship that went bust, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I know that I was thinking about this in the context of contracts on other shows and how they've worked, and I was thinking about how on Teen Mom,
Uh-oh, here we go.
some of the cast members have said that if they have more kids, the network pays them more, and then they get bonuses for different life events. And I was thinking that might be the case with Counting On. So, and I don't know this to be true. So again, this is just a theory. Don't take this as fact.
But this is obviously something she's thought about. Obviously something she's thought about.
I was thinking about this and I was like, okay, well, what if Jim Bob was receiving bonuses for the kids getting married? And what if he received bonuses every time one of the kids had a child? And what if they received bonuses anytime they had a child? And what if he knew that the show was coming to an end because of what was happening with Josh? And what if he was trying to get Jana married off because he knew he could get a huge big bonus from TLC? But then when the arrest happened and they lost the show, what if he cut the relationship off? Because he knew he wasn't going to get the money.
I agree.
So I was thinking, well, what if it would have been profitable to him and then it wasn't profitable to him? That was.
So she's pretty much saying that in her mind, and she's thinking about it, that Jana is just a dollar sign. Pretty much.
My theory. But I'm about to time out here. But it's the only thing that kind of makes sense to me here. Like, it's the end of the Counting On. I'm going to get her husband finally. We can finally make the money. It's going to be our big payday. And then he's arrested and, oh, well, never mind. We need her more. We need her to be our babysitter. We need her to raise our kids. We need her to take care of Anna's kids. That's an excellent theory. So anyways, I have to go because this is going to time out. I'm going to see if I can get someone to come on with me soon. But this has been invigorating. If you have
Would y'all call this invigorating, honestly? Hi, Autumn.
comments, questions, or concerns, keep me posted. I need to.
Okay, so here we go with her second part. Look at the difference in her. I mean, look at the difference in her face. Look at the difference in her eyes. I'm not saying anything bad whatsoever at all, but just look at the difference in her. Look at the difference in her opinion. And usually I edit out all of the silence. I really do. I edit out all the silence. But whenever I went to edit this, I kind of couldn't edit this because was seeing stuff, while she had her silence there. There was stuff that I was thinking that I was kind of like, okay, I can talk during the silence and I can kind of talk over this, but this was more of the part that I wanted to point out to people and that I wanted to say. But I added the first part in here, and I did that so you could see in the very beginning, she was actually smiling. She was having a full conversation. She was paying attention to her chat. She was doing stuff that she normally doesn't do. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and add in the first part. Now, when we get to the second part, Janet may get a little snippy, so y'all just ignore Janet. Just ignore Janet just a little bit if I get a little snippy. But I'm gonna put my opinions in here where I think my opinions need to be. But I first wanted to point out: look at her appearance. Look at how much different she looks. And yes, this is her second live. I don't know how long in between the two, but yeah,
to get something off my chest, and then I need to go to bed. I did a post, and like, people are trying to feel sorry for me, but I don't want people to feel sorry for me because I'm not trying to make people feel sorry for me.
do y'all hear the way she's talking? I mean, honestly, do you hear the way she's talking? She's doing this live for a reason.
I'm just trying to like stand up for what's right, and I'm just trying to like, people don't get that the last 2 days I've needed to seriously decompress because I have had some of the worst human beings on the phone with me and in my inbox and trying.
But you had people actually sitting there reaching out to you, and you told people to go into your inbox, and you told people to email you. You told people to share their stories with you. You told them all of that stuff. And so now that they're in there, it's bothering you. I mean, you kind of brought that on yourself, girl. You really did.
Trying to suck my ass to get me to not post shit that's not favorable to them. And they think that because they're calling the Duggars out, that I'm somehow supposed to ignore their crimes, which is stupid. Nothing happened. I'm just calling shit out for what it is.
Yes, she uses a lot of curse words, and I'm sorry for that. I really am.
I am going to say this. If you have committed a crime against a child, I don't have sympathy for you. If you are punching your children in the face, I don't have sympathy for
Most people wouldn't have sympathy for people like that. They wouldn't.
you. If you are setting your children up with I don't have sympathy for you. If you're justifying corporal punishment, I don't have sympathy for you. And
see, now I was raised on corporal punishment, and I've put that out there a lot, and it's not nothing. I'm not saying anything out there bad about people that don't do it. With my kids, I didn't have to worry about that. A look was all they needed, which is 100% great. But yeah,
if you're contacting me trying to figure out who I'm talking to because you are afraid that I have information about you, but you are then pointing the finger at the Duggars. The reason why nobody in this world speaks out, I'll tell you the truth, you guys. Once you get
go ahead, tell us the truth, Katie Joy. I'm glad you finally said, "Let me tell you the truth."
inside it, they're all criminals. Every one of them are criminals.
Do you have the right to say that? Honestly, do you have the right to say that?
They're all doing horrible things to their kids. They're all hiding horrible secrets, and they're all justifying it under the guise of God. Do you know how many people in the last 3 months have told me that God mandates them to beat their children? Do you know how many have inappropriately spoken about sex and been wholly disgusting while I'm talking to them? Well, they're...
You asked for it, Katie Joy. You asked for it. When you ask people to come into your inbox and ask for people to leave you messages and ask people for their stories, you're asking for it. So you put yourself in this situation. You really did.
Wives are there, and their wives don't say a damn word. I'm a professional, and I don't give a shit.
How are you a professional doing things like this? How are you a professional getting on lives and acting like this and saying some of the things that you say? How are you a professional?
Shit who you are. But like, I just want to say something. Like, just because you're an alpha man and you exist in a world where you think that you're holier than thou doesn't give you the right to be like actually inappropriate with women just because you think you can.
So is she accusing people of being that way in her inbox? Is that what she's doing?
Like, these men, so many of them have no boundaries.
Katie Joy, do you have boundaries? Do you? Gosh, I don't know.
But I'm going to stand my ground and say, like, punching your kids in the face is fucked up.
Who has said that punching? I couldn't even imagine that. I really, honestly, I couldn't imagine that whatsoever at all.
It's fucked up.
Why so aggressive?
Having conversations where you're talking about how you need to get your wife under control and not let your wife speak. Oh, yeah, that's what these guys talk about.
Y'all want to know something? Hi, Jero. My husband, sometimes he will actually say, I can't control my wife. I can't get my wife under control. I can't get my wife to come inside. I can't get my wife to do anything. So, hey.
They flat out talk about how their wives shouldn't be able to talk.
Sometimes my husband thinks the same way. Sometimes he thinks the same way. Janet just doesn't need to talk. Because, hey, look, it says, don't get me started. I don't come with breaks. I got my own cup. Mine's full of water. But yeah, I sometimes get to talking and I don't stop. So
Jim Bob telling friends, get your wife under control. Tell her to stop
no, Mandy, it's not.
talking. But yet the friends that they're saying this to are in that world too. And then they try to like pretend like they're somehow better. None of these people are better. If you're going to blow a whistle, you need to blow the whistle on yourself. And that's why this world exists. I've figured it out. I've spent the better part of 2 years trying to figure out why the secrets in this world stay hidden. It's because they're all guilty.
Secrets are meant to stay hidden. That's why they're called secrets, Katie Joy.
They're all doing shit that's like so horrible. And they're doing it under the guise of religion. And that's what pisses me off more than anything. Because I'm an atheist, and these...
Why do you point that out all the time? Why is that something that has to be pointed out all the time? I just don't think it's necessary.
These people are so disrespectful to the fact that I have no faith, and they act like I'm so horrible as a human being because I'm not godly enough. And they also love to talk about how I'm bisexual and how they still like me despite my bisexuality.
So is she talking about one person here? Do y'all think that she's talking about just one person here?
Thank you. Thank you for putting up with the fact that I'm a bisexual human being. I don't put up with the fact that you punch your children in the face. And I don't put up with the fact that you enable horrible behavior. I am sick for the kids in this cult that grow up with these men and they think it's normal. I'm sick for the women that are married.
Nobody thinks it's normal for a child to be hurt. Nobody thinks that's normal. Only you are trying to make it to where it's something that it's not. I mean, nobody thinks that that's normal, that it's okay. None of that stuff.
These men that justify it and feel like they need to defend it. I'm learning so much how these women are coached by their husbands to pretend like what they're going through isn't. I have been on the phone with women knowing that their husbands are knowing that their husbands are beating them and hearing them defend their husbands, because they know that if they don't, they're going to get their asses beat. And I know that's a scary place to be, but they don't
So if you know this is happening, then why wouldn't you report it? I mean, or are they just supposed to stay anonymous even with all this happening?
fool me. And it's sad because these women don't believe that it's happening to them. Or if it is happening.
So she takes so many long, awkward pauses during this, but you can tell in the beginning one, she was talking, 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 and in this one, you will see a different side of her.
Happening to them, they believe that it's justified. It's sad. When I say that the women are as sick as the men, it's not a lie.
See, I want to know who all she's talking about. I want to know who all she's talking about.
The women they start out just innocent, and they become the targets of their husband, and then they turn into the targets of their children, and they abuse their children along with their husbands at their husband's direction, and then they protect their husbands and the of the children, and then they hide the secrets of their husbands because they don't want their husbands to be arrested, but they also know that they're guilty too.
So the wives are guilty, the husbands are guilty, everybody's guilty.
It's a disease in this cult because the victims become perpetrators. And that's what is so hard, because for every woman that breaks free, they have got to have such immense guilt because they became a part of the system of a. I don't think
If they're free, why should they have guilt?
the women mean to get that way. I don't feel like they mean to go there. But once you cross the threshold from victim to you lose the ability to say I'm a victim, because you've then turned your victimization into victimizing someone else.
You're making your own kind of sense, Katie Joy. You really are.
Someone has to break the cycle. Someone has to say enough. And no amount of lying, and no amount of saying that it's not true, and no amount of saying, well, we never pretended to be perfect, or we weren't lying like the Duggars, that doesn't justify it. So just because you didn't get a show doesn't mean that your hitting your kids is any better.
Why is she always talking about hitting kids? Why is she always talking about you and the eyebrow, Lindsay? Why is she always talking about the same thing?
The illness that this cult has is so disturbing, and I'm so tired of these people trying to control my platform and being threatened by them that if I don't follow their rules,
this is where I started thinking automatically that she was talking about Amy. I honestly did. I started thinking she was talking about Amy at this.
they're going to publicly trash me or disparage me. I'm not in a cult, and I'm not your muse, and I'm not. You can't control me. I live in the real world. I don't live in the world where gross men abuse kids and punch them.
Listen to how slowly she's talking.
It's disgusting. Okay, I'm turning on comments only for a minute. And do not feel sorry for me. I'm not doing this for pity. I'm not.
Then why are you doing this? Why are you even on live at this point? Why?
A victim of this. This isn't me feeling sad for myself. This is me just calling out horrible behavior.
Whose horrible behavior are you calling out? See, she has long, awkward pauses.
I've had to hold back so much for like 3 months because I've had to be like walking the tightrope of them giving me information, but also placating their horrible behavior.
Why would you have to do that? Why are you placating anybody? Just long, awkward silences. Imagine watching this in real time with nobody commenting on it, with nobody saying anything. And I don't have her paused.
They are really sick in the head. It isn't just Amy that tries to control what's on my platform. What Amy does is a symptom of what this whole cult does. Every single one of them tries to control this platform. All of them.
All of them. Who?
And Amy might want to be distanced from this, but Amy Duggar profited off of this, became famous from this, knew her siblings were or her cousins knew about the corporal punishment. Maybe she spoke out about it, but it didn't stop her from.
But is corporal punishment illegal in Arkansas? Is it? Because Katie Joy has said it's illegal where she's at. Exactly, Joni. Hi, Ashley. I don't understand this. I just.
Being on the show. It didn't stop her mom from being on the show after the scandal happened with Josh. Didn't stop them from having a relationship with them despite what Josh was doing.
So now her having a relationship with her family is bad. That's pretty much it. Her having a relationship with her family is bad.
It didn't stop any of that. Like, if you didn't want to have a relationship, all you had to do was separate yourself. Like, nobody forced you to continue in that situation. So
nobody forced her to be around her family. Nobody forced her to want to be part of her family. Some people want to be part of their family. Some people understand the way that the family lives and how the family operates.
Oh, it's hard for me to feel sorry for people that continue to be a prof of it.
I just wonder if she's blocking people.
She's freaking out at me because why? Because I know the truth about the people that are around her, because I know that she's friends with people that abuse their children, because I know that she and her husband's businesses are struggling because they've made their name off the Duggars' name and everything is crumbling now. When they got the money, it didn't stop them. They allowed themselves to be controlled by Jim Bob. They allowed themselves to not speak out and be afraid and intimidated for what?
But that's the way their family operates. I'm sorry. See, she's just awkward. She really is. It's like she wants to say something, but she's not saying it. Or her chat's not saying what she wants her chat to say. You can huff and puff all you want, but maybe your chat's not agreeing with you.
Jim Bob and Mary gave Amy a house. Amy got 2 properties when Mary died.
Why are you even releasing all of this? Amy was supposedly your friend, and now look at what you're doing.
I don't know beyond that, but they still were on the show after they claimed they weren't on the show. She told me on my channel she was never on Counting On, and I found videos and episodes of her on Counting On. I found numerous times where she tried to not be honest with me. And it's like, when everything was going great, it was fine. But then at the same time, she knows about the rods that
OPC, just wait.
are in those houses, and she knew about the rod of encouragement, and she still was on the show. Like, if you're going to be against corporal punishment, why would you be on a show with your sibling or your cousins and your family when you know that your aunt and uncle are using a rod on them?
Because that's just the way their family lived. And I'm not defending Amy, guys. I'm not doing that whatsoever at all. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to point out that families live differently. They really do. Every family is different.
Why? Because it made you famous? Because it gave you exposure? What's why?
Why do you seem so bitter and mad? That's the thing. What in the world? Why would you go on Instagram like this?
If you're against corporal punishment, why would you want to be associated with the show? In my mind, if my family had a show like that and they were doing that, I would want nothing to do with it.
But KJ, aren't you in your house most of the time? Aren't you away from people most of the time? Don't you stick to yourself most of the time? Isn't it just your family most of the time? So that's kind of your normal. Other people, they want to be around their family. They want to, they want to have something to do with their family. They want to be part of their family. And in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that. Amy can't control exactly what her family does. Amy can't control that whatsoever at all. And that's just the way it goes. And so it may not even have anything to do with the television show. It may not have anything to do with that whatsoever at all. It may just be that's her family and she accepts her family for exactly who her family is.
So now to be self-righteous and against it, it just seems hypocritical. And to be screaming and yelling at anyone that points out what's happening, it's ridiculous.
So now she's saying she's screaming and yelling. So now that's what she wants to say.
And then to act like you were so against it, but when it was working, you profited off of it.
And you profit off the Duggars. You profit off of stuff like this.
And when so many times I tried to work with this girl and she would just flat out lie to me.
And everything you say
She
is
wanted
the
a
truth?
singing career. She wanted a reality show. No, she never screamed or yelled at me. No.
Then why did you just say that? Then why did you just say that?
No, I never said that. I mean, if I said that now, it's like, no, she never screamed and yelled at me. But she told me about the rod of encouragement. Ask her. Ask Amy about the rod of encouragement. Ask her about everything that she knows about corporal punishment, because she knows it. That's like the only thing she ever told me. Otherwise, she really doesn't know anything.
Well, that's good to know. So now you're saying that she doesn't know anything about, what happened with Josh. So that's good to know.
But if you know your cousins are getting beaten, why were you on a show with them? Why?
Then if they were getting beaten, like what you're saying, if that's actually happening, wouldn't we have seen that on the show? Wouldn't we have seen something about that on the show? Because the kids were on there.
Why were you helping perpetuate their fame?
You just seem so bitter, Katie Joy. You just
That's
you
what she
really
told
do.
me. She acted like she knew nothing. The blanket training everyone knows about. But she
Yeah,
told me
you
about the
released
rod of
video.
encouragement.
And you constantly look at the smirk on your face. You constantly talk about the rod of encouragement. You constantly talk about corporal punishment. You constantly talk about so many different things whenever it comes to these people. And this smirk just says it all to me. It really does. This smirk says so much to me. And that's why I was like, okay, so this one oh, no, I don't have birds, Ashley. Sorry. But this right here just says so much.
She even showed me a picture of what they look like. Other people told me about it too. So she wasn't the only one. It wasn't like that was the only person that was giving me that information. But you were okay with the rod of encouragement? Like, I just don't get it. She was an adult when she was on the show.
Yes, so she made the choice. She made the choice to be on the show.
No, she didn't know anything about Josh touching his sisters. That's the one
See, that's a good thing. Amy didn't know anything about it, so that's something that you can't hold over Amy's head later.
thing the Duggars kept hidden. Like, they did not tell them about that. And I believe that. I believe wholeheartedly they did not tell them about that. And now to discredit me, she's lying to people and saying that she never invited me to her apart, like come stay with her, which is such a bullshit. You guys saw the live stream. And
yeah, she posted the live where Amy said that she should come down sometime.
then she's trying to say that I said that I was going to go to her place and like stay at her house for the trial. Not true. Like, I didn't even know if I was going to go to the trial. I considered.
But didn't you say you were going to go to the trial and then you decided that you shouldn't go to the trial and you used your son as an excuse to not go to the trial?
Going to the trial, but to be honest, I had multiple people, not Amy, offer to let me stay with them, and I was uncomfortable with all of it. I wanted to stay at a hotel if I was there, but I didn't want to go there by myself.
Who was going to go with you? I mean, honestly, who else would you just want Amy to go with you? Was that your main thing? Look at she's just.
It's not like we're not against Amy. I'm against the lying. I'm against all of the lies.
You're against a lot of things, is what you're saying in this.
And not all of them lie. Like, Derek Dillard doesn't, you might not agree with everything that he says, but Derek Dillard doesn't lie. Like, he just doesn't. You might not agree with his politics. You might not agree with how he feels about people, but
I think you're saying Derek Dillard now because Derek Dillard actually talked to you at some point, like over chat or wherever it was. I think that's the reason why you're okay with him.
one thing I will say about Derek is he doesn't fucking lie. Like, he means what he says and he says what he means and he holds to those convictions.
And guys, I can't help but wonder what's in her cup. We saw the last stream.
She told me she was never on Counting On. She was. She told me that the video was about Backwoods Barbie. Then she said it wasn't about her.
Okay, so this right here is what kind of started getting me because of the whole Backwoods Barbie thing and this being brought up once again.
She told me the comment was about Jana. Then she said it wasn't about Jana when she got blowback. I mean, that was always how it was.
So she got a little bit of pushback from people.
No, it's not. It's right there. You just
see, guys, people commenting about her eyebrow. Everybody was commenting about her eyebrow. I kept my mouth shut. I didn't say anything. I didn't do nothing because, yep, see, she's pointing out her eyebrow is there. Her eyebrow is there. So she has it. So thank you, sweet Melissa.
Can't see it because of it's not missing. It's because of the angle. It's there.
Keep going, Katie Joy. Keep going. Imagine being on an actual live stream with all this silence.
Hold on.
now she's trying to pull up the good stuff. But it's taken her some time.
Here. This is me texting Amy, the shade.
Amy was supposed to be her friend. Amy was supposed to be her friend, and look at what she's doing.
It's a comment about Jana, about not sleeping. She said, I'm going to call out something that's not right and shouldn't happen. December 11th. That is Amy, in her words, telling me that post is about Jana.
Oh, Ashley, she gets to it. She gets to it, Ashley. Keep going, Katie Joy.
I have more.
Hi, Elena. We're just now getting to the good old Amy part.
Just wait.
See, she's pretty much telling you she's going to share a lot. She's just going to put it out there. It's taken her a little bit.
Hold on.
But just look at the expression on her face. I mean, honestly, just
here's Amy.
Look at that.
Asking me to go to the trial with her. I might go to the trial, might. I want to know who's testifying. I said, me too. Fly down and go with me.
So Amy actually said it. Fly down and go with me. So Amy actually said it to her.
LOL.
So Katie Joy's showing that one. She's showing that one part.
I might. Do you think Boob would freak? He would lose his shit. She's.
And see, whenever I saw the SHIT, when I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't think that was a way Amy would talk. I didn't think that whatsoever at all. So that one right there kind of threw me for a loop because, you know, she talks about how she's a Christian and all this. Thank you, Kayla. I'm not for sure how to say your name. But welcome to my channel. But whenever I saw that, I was just like, okay, so some things aren't adding up.
Said.
But look at Katie Joy's face.
I don't lie.
I wouldn't go that far.
I don't fucking lie. And I'm tired of this girl telling me that I lied.
Keep going, Katie Joy. Keep going, Katie Joy. It takes her a little bit.
Hold
it
on.
takes her a little bit to get to the next one that she wants to expose. It really does.
Oh, you can't see this one. Oh my God, was that about Backwoods Barbie? LOL, yep.
Look at how much Katie Joy actually puts in there. She actually writes in there, you know why she hates you? Because she hates me. She only covers the Duggars because she doesn't like me. She flat out created her channel to defend them. Here's the thing. I was around whenever all this stuff happened, whenever Amy mocked Backwoods Barbie. And I don't know how far ahead I'm going to jump, but I want to go ahead and say what I have to say. So when Amy called Backwoods Barbie and was talking about this, you know, they worked all this out supposedly, and Amy told Backwoods Barbie certain things, and Backwoods Barbie is still having emotions. From what I gather, my opinion, she's still having emotions over being mocked. And she's still having emotions over all this being brought up over and over again. So how is this actually, you know, fair to Backwoods Barbie for this to be brought out now? This should have been brought out whenever all the situation was going down, when Katie Joy released her apology to people, and, you know, she did her apology and then she deleted her apology. But with her doing all of that, this all should have came out. If it was going to come out, it should have came out during the height of everything if Katie Joy wanted to clear her name. Sorry, guys. But
LOL.
When Katie Joy did her apology, hi Deborah. When Katie Joy did her apology, yeah, I kind of had a few words to say about that. Yes, I did, because she involved redneck women, and I'm a redneck woman.
Yep, she knew it was about her. And I don't care that Barbie knows that she hates me. She does hate me. She's friends all of her life, just obsessed about me. And I said, yep, thank you. I said, my husband said you did a great impression. And she said, thank you.
Yep, Lindsay.
So
right there, she's saying that she knew exactly what she was doing. And she knew exactly who she was making an impression of. She was making an impression of Backwoods Barbie. That's what that right there says. And that's back in October.
She knew it was about Barbie. The whole time.
But you came out and made an apology.
Her mom knew it was about Barbie.
Why can't you leave Barbie alone?
But she goes on and says that it wasn't about Barbie.
I have no idea what she's doing right now.
I got more.
Hi, Deborah. I hope you're well, too.
People think you're staying with me. I feel like you got heat and you blamed me. I'm moving, so it's insane time for me. Oh, I never said where I was staying. A long time ago, I said you asked me to come down, but with this, I said nothing. I don't expect to stay with anyone. I just said I don't need moral support and that we're best friends and staying with me and that I'm providing security. It's like,
well, Katie Joy has said for a while that her and Amy were best friends, or, friends. Katie Joy had said that for a while. So that's what people were under the impression of. And so now it's kind of like backtracking just a little bit.
Whoa. I never said that. She was like getting messages from these people and it was just going on and on of me saying, I never said that. I never said that. I never said that.
And I wonder if these are out of order, because you don't see a date on these or anything. So I wonder if they are out of order. Thank you, Deborah. Hi, Christine.
I can't go to trial. It really is. I don't blame you. I still haven't decided, literally. I don't think it would be safe for me. Where am I telling Amy that I'm going to fucking stay with her?
Didn't you say it in a video? Or you said that...
I am so tired of this girl. I have so many of these messages.
Then show them all in order and show them all in context.
She says it's about Backwoods Barbie, and then a week later when she's getting shit, she says, I don't know who that was. I thought we were talking about rednecks. When we flat out had a fucking conversation and she said, yeah, I know who that girl is.
You did an apology and you started trying to say that it was about redneck women. And that's when it was like, oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. You don't start mocking people like that. You don't start mocking Southerners. You don't start mocking stuff like that. You just don't do it. So I don't know. Honestly, guys, I don't know at this point who to believe. I don't know if it's Amy to believe or if it's KJ to believe. I don't know who it is to believe, but she is just outing out and she is just sitting here you believe they're Photoshop, you don't trust KJ. I don't know, because she posted these on Instagram too. She really did. And you got to think, she's coming after Amy right now. My opinion, she's coming after Amy, and she's releasing what she can about Amy. So,
watched her. But she threw me to the wolves because she got hate and she was losing business.
so at what point did y'all stop following each other? So at what point was, yep, as Barbie would say, chug a lug. She was, Katie Joy was saying that it wasn't safe for her to be at the actual trial because people were, saying she people wanted to meet her, is what she was saying.
She lied and said it wasn't about Jana when it was about Jana.
Oh, I think so too, about Mandy, about the whole cop thing.
I don't care about I don't care about this petty shit.
Obviously you do, because you're on Instagram doing this. You're on Instagram outing all of this, and then you still have to go and post it on your Instagram. You still have to go do all of that. So obviously you do care about this. So that right there turns it into a lie. If you didn't care about all this, you wouldn't be sharing this. So at the same time as you want to call Amy a liar, then you also have to look at yourself. You really do. You have to look at yourself when you're saying you're not going to do the drama, you're not going to do the petty, you're not going to do this, you're not going to do that. That's perfectly fine. Don't do it. But what are you doing now by sharing all of this?
But like, she's trying to disrupt anyone I speak to and saying that I'm a liar when I didn't lie. She's the one that lied. And you guys, she's going through some serious shit right now. They owe so much money.
See, and this right here is just wrong, guys. I'm sorry. Well, at the top of the text it just says Amy, and so it would pretty much be between her and Amy. But okay, guys, I'll go ahead and tell you this. I was trying to figure out when it was that Amy and Katie Joy quit following each other. I have all these videos to where, people were talking about it and talking about when the home mocking situation went down and all of that. So I have all these videos, and I was going to do a big video and for Backwoods Barbie, and actually, for hopefully, to mend her heart just a little bit after all this went down. And then whenever I was looking back at videos, if they stopped following each other when the whole mocking situation happened, then why were they still texting and all that when the whole Jana thing went down? Because the Jana thing went down after the mocking thing. So this right here is making absolutely no sense to me whatsoever at all. Because when the mocking went down, Amy apologized, and then it was Katie Joy apologizing, Katie Joy deleting her apology, and then we went on to the next thing. So it's, when did they actually stop unfollowing each other? When did they actually stop ending? And I have been trying to figure this out. I really, really have, and I have had no luck whatsoever at all, because to me, just my opinion and only my opinion, going back and looking at both of them, I can't pinpoint exactly when it was that them two stopped following each other and when it was that them two stopped trying to cover for each other, because that's the way I look at it.
Like, she knows that she owes money in taxes for her commercial properties that they haven't paid in 3 years.
Why even say anything to anybody? Honestly, why?
She has a huge tax lien right now for her business that she hasn't paid taxes on since she started. They have a loan out against a business that they acquired from her grandmother's death that they can't repay.
how do you know they can't repay certain things? How do you know all of their finances? How do you know how her business is going? How do you know all this unless you and Amy are still talking and y'all just recently stopped talking? So that would put a whole new light on all of this. It really would. It's kind of like, when was the actual breaking point where Amy and Katie Joy quit following each other? When was their breaking point to where they quit texting each other? When was the actual full breaking point? They say it was whenever, Amy or Katie Joy finally said something about Amy's mother and put that out there. If that was the actual case, then those two followed each other throughout all of this drama, throughout all of this controversy. Them two followed each other, they talked to each other, everything. So, me trying to figure out exactly when they stopped following each other is pointless at this point. It really is. Me trying to go back and, sweetheart, or Kimberly, I don't have a join button, honey. Sorry, I really don't. I don't have memberships hooked up yet. I don't. But me trying to go back and look at this, because I figured when all the mocking went down and everybody had to sit there and they had to apologize for it, and they had to, each of them were making their own apology, I figured that would be the end of it. Well, it wasn't. Obviously, if then the whole Janet thing come up. So yeah, this one had me all over the place.
She just paid off a
You're welcome,
massive
Kimberly.
IRS tax lien, and her business is falling apart because of what's happened with the Duggars.
So it only has to do with the Duggars. It only has to do with the Duggars. When I thought that they said that there was stuff, happening with Amy's business when the whole Backwoods Barbie, mocking thing came up in the first place. What about all that? I thought that, that had some complications there. So that right there is not making any sense. But why are you bringing all of this up? Why are you outing her like this? And yes, guys, I'm not normally this snappy, but I told you in my community post, I told you, and I warned you before I started talking about this, I might get a little snippy, just a little snippy, because yes, I have been trying to work on a video, and no, I haven't gotten anywhere with that video, and I've been working on it for days. Good morning, Stacey.
All of that is public record.
It doesn't mean that you need to out it.
And I'm trying to just report a story. I don't know. She owes like $28,000 to the state of Arkansas. It's on.
So this is a story that you want to report. It really is. This is a story that you want to only because Amy blocked her. Yes, Kimberly, but I don't know when all this happened. I really don't.
Public record. She has not paid taxes since 2018 for her company 3130 to the state of Arkansas.
Why are you outing all of this? What are you
I don't think she
benefiting
bought
from?
the house. I haven't found any property records that show that she owns any house.
Why are you searching into her owning a house?
But one thing you should do is pay your taxes. And that's
Yes,
the problem.
pay your taxes.
No, I don't think they bought a new house, you guys. There's literally not one single record in their name of a house being purchased.
She does a lot of research. We know how this goes.
Should I be telling you what's been going on in her life? Is she a public figure?
See, she's starting with the public figure thing again. She's starting, KJ doesn't like being considered a public figure sometimes. So, but why is she telling all of Amy's stuff?
It's a Duggar that points the finger at other Duggars for not paying taxes. Should you pay your taxes?
Yes, Katie Joy, you should pay your taxes. Awkward silence. What are you doing with your tongue?
They're in a financial crisis right now, and I feel bad for them.
So you're outing them.
But all of this is public record, and this is why she ended up flipping out on me, because I found her tax lien. And I didn't even mean to find her tax lien on purpose. I was looking at property records for the Duggars, and a $53,000 tax lien showed up. And I was like, did you know that this is there? Because if I found it, like, other people are going to find this.
And now you just opened it up for even more people to find it. That's the problem, KJ, is you're exposing it for other people to find now when nobody else might not have known about this.
And after I made that comment to her, within 5 days, I was a horrible person.
So that's when you got blocked. I thought it was over the whole thing about, like I said, I thought it was the whole thing about Amy and her mom. Mom says, "Hi, Noelle." I thought that it was all about, Amy getting upset over her mom's thing. Well, now it's more about this. So this is why it's so hard to pinpoint when they stop following each other, when they stop being friends. This is just so, yeah.
She owes $27,000 for her business, and then they acquired 2 properties that they got when Grandma Mary died. They owe the city of Springdale $15,000 for like back taxes.
You are exposing way too much. You are exposing way too much. Hi, Edie. This is just really awkward.
And they finally paid off the tax lien with the IRS when she sold her house.
So she paid something off. She paid it off. She paid one of them off. So do you need to be bringing it up? If something's been paid off, do you need to be bringing it up? Do you need to be talking about this? Nikki, I don't know if she actually does or not.
I don't care who talks about me. I don't care if somebody doesn't like me. I don't care if other YouTubers talk about me.
If you didn't care if other people did. Okay, Katie Joy. If you honestly didn't care about if other people talk about you or not, then you wouldn't have even brought up Backwoods Barbie. You wouldn't even be talking about Backwoods Barbie. You wouldn't even have Backwoods Barbie in your mouth right now because she is another YouTuber. So you obviously care about what other people have to say. I mean, because you showed a text message about Backwoods Barbie. I'm just saying, y'all, I've taken up for Backwoods Barbie so many times before, and I've been there, and so this is all just kind of frustrating to me.
What I don't like is when somebody tries to smear you because you found out information about them and they know that you have that information and they're afraid that you're gonna report it, and then you don't report it because you want to protect them, but then you're like, if it was anyone else, I would report it.
Hey,
So is it fair to sit on information just because you know that this person is maybe nice to you sometimes?
So now then you're going to report. This is what you're calling reporting the information. Reporting her financials, reporting her tax liens, reporting all of this stuff. This is. Keep going, KJ.
You're not friends with people that you report on. You're not.
Then why did you call her pretty much your friend? That's what you did. That is really what you honestly did. You classified her as your friend. But now you're reporting on her? I mean, come on now. ethics just a little bit, just a little bit.
You're friendly.
Hi, Christine.
I have empathy for people.
She has empathy for people. You don't put people's private information out there or public information out there for other people to know about. You just kind of leave it alone. There's certain things that just need to be left alone, in my opinion. You just need to leave it alone. You just need to let it be. And there's no need for all of this. There was no need for you to share these screenshots on Instagram. There's no need for any of this.
But I'm not anybody's friend.
You just said it. You're not anybody's friend. And I wonder why. I honestly, I wonder why.
No, she never tried to discredit me before I reported on her.
Maybe she doesn't want this information out there. Can you think about stuff from your heart before
And there's
you put it
nothing
out?
like that serious about a tax lien. Like,
there's nothing that serious about a tax lien. Woman, when somebody called you out and said something about you having any kind of, I don't remember if it was a tax lien or what it was, but somebody went into your comments and they called you out on that. And I remember doing a video on it to where you had to go into a live stream afterwards and you had to say, oh no, 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 I don't have any liens, I don't have anything outstanding, I don't have any of that. You had to point that out so everybody would know that you didn't have that 70K. You went into a live stream because it bothered you that bad. But this is no big deal for you to say it about other people. No big deal. No big deal.
it's not that big of a deal, right? It's like you should pay your taxes. But when you've banked your whole life on your family's name and then their name goes in the toilet and then you're fucked because you have all these bills to pay. And then so instead of dealing with the fact that your family is fucked, you take it out on other people. That's where it gets messy. So
now you're saying that she took it out on you. Yeah, it was on her house. But it's still the whole thing of she didn't want her information out there. Katie Joy didn't want her information out there whatsoever at all. That's not what Katie Joy wanted. So Katie Joy had to go and defend herself. But now she's doing this to Amy.
when you live outside of your means, that's the problem. She got a house from them. I mean, there's just so many.
There's so many what?
I think it's easy to lie because they do it so easily.
Come on now, Katie Joy.
I think she benefited from me in that she got an audience. I think she likes the attention. I genuinely think that, like, she's probably a nice person, but I also think that she likes the attention because
You have been on live streams with Amy. You seriously have. You have been on live streams with Amy. You've obviously talked to Amy in text messages. So how would you not know, or how would you know if she was a nice person or not a nice person? I mean, wouldn't you have already gathered that or not? If she was a mean person or a bad person, wouldn't you have already outed her? Just saying.
there's a lot of people in the Duggar world that don't speak publicly because they don't want the association, because they know what comes with it.
It's because of the
And
name.
it would be hard for her not to lie. She was raised by Mary, who's a liar.
Why do you keep talking about this woman like this? She's never heard of "Don't speak ill of the deceased."
The house, the taxes have nothing to do with the house that was gifted to her. Like, that's nothing to do with the house that is gifted to her.
Obviously, you did a lot of digging to know the
They
difference between all of this.
inherited commercial property when Mary died, and they haven't paid the taxes on those properties. And they also haven't, I don't know, it's just a mess. They owe people a lot of money, and I think that's why she's freaking out right now.
We're Katie Joy. I'm sorry. I would never want to be considered your friend. Never.
But the truth is when you're a part of this world, and if, like, dude, just pay your taxes.
I agree, pay your taxes. But that doesn't mean that you have to out her. That's not what it means.
Who cares about Barbie? Just let it go.
You brought Barbie into this.
I'm removing all comments about these. I haven't mentioned her name.
How have you not mentioned Barbie's name? I mean, seriously, how have you not mentioned Barbie's name? You have mentioned Barbie's name. You put it up there. You're the one that brought it up in a message.
I agree, super mom.
Katie Joy's actually paying attention to comments.
Mary, I don't know. Mary just was a liar. I don't know. Ask the people in her life.
I don't like it when she yawns on stream. I just don't like it when she yawns on stream whatsoever at all.
Bye, J. Hubbard.
Why do you have to block so many people?
Just pay your taxes. Don't live outside of your means. Don't get mad that you built yourself up on a platform based on and turning a blind eye to that, because you didn't have to start a business and have your husband used dill pickle. Why would your husband have his username?
She brought this up and I was just like, oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness.
Be like dill pickle. It's a play on the Duggars, right? Doesn't your husband hate the Duggars? Why would he use dill pickle? He's doing that for the attention of the Duggar name.
I have no idea what that means. I have no, yeah, Kimberly, I imagine so. Imagine how many people she's blocking. Imagine that.
It's funny. I block someone that says something about something and then they come in with a brand new account.
I wonder about her IG followers. I wonder if it's gone down. I really do. I wonder if her IG followers have gone down a lot, because she blocks a lot of people. And that's what she's doing right now, is she's blocking people. And to just read your
I just
comments,
think it's gross to be like bullying people into saying things. And
who's being the bully, KJ? Explain yourself. There you go, Ashley. But I want to know who's being the bully.
You don't know that dill pickles have to do with the Duggars? Come on. One of the biggest bloggers that does Duggar stuff is Pickles. The Duggars are obsessed with dill pickles.
Not everybody knows
obsessed. It's their thing.
Not everybody knows that. Not everybody, follows the Duggars as closely as KJ does.
Amy was not my source. Amy didn't have information. so she wasn't my source. And she didn't defriend me, Cradle Catholic. That's not even a word. You should go back to high school.
By God is a woman. And why are you insulting people, Katie Joy? Quit insulting people. Just quit insulting people. People are in your live stream to chat with you. Just don't insult people. It's simple.
I didn't show anything about the Barbie stuff, and I didn't show those screenshots before because
Didn't she just say she didn't want to talk about Barbie? Didn't she just block people because of Barbie? Didn't she?
I didn't want to play this stupid game. I didn't want to have to prove that I wasn't lying. But the fact that it keeps going on and on and on, like, it's just stupid. You told me it was Barbie. That's the screenshot. You said it was about her. All you haters that have been sucking her ass realize that she lied.
We realized that you showed screenshots of conversations that you had with Amy, but we get to kind of form our own opinion, is what we get to do.
And that's how it started. She knew it was about that. Everyone knew it was about Barbie. Like, nobody knew it was her voice.
Not everybody knew it was about Barbie. And you started pointing out that it was Southerners, and then we started pointing out it was rednecks, and this all just goes back to the whole mocking video. That's what this goes back to, is the whole mocking video. And that's something that Amy just can't get out from under. Look at her staring at her comments. You gotta block somebody else. It's just amazing how many people she actually just goes in and blocks sometimes. But imagine sitting on a live stream with her and her just sitting here, just the silence, just waiting for somebody to mess up in chat.
All right, I'm going to post that stuff and I'll be back later. Bye. Good.
Well, that was the end of that. I told y'all. I told y'all in the beginning that she went from this face to the other face. I told you, and yeah, I'm usually really nice and sweet. I really am, I promise. But sometimes I have some very opinions that I need to get out there, and I need to just say, and I just need to just get off my chest. And doing the whole Barbie thing, it kind of got to me because, yeah, I defended Barbie several times whenever it came down to it. And then, I had to put my own opinion out there when she started saying it was about rednecks and, Southerners, and it was about this and it was about that. I mean, they couldn't get their story straight whatsoever at all half the time. And you want to talk about a mess, guys? You want to talk about an absolute mess? It was just all over the place. I'm telling you, it really was. And I still don't know the truth behind it all. Even seeing the screenshots, even seeing all that, I still don't know the truth behind it all. I don't. I don't know where it started. I, I, I guess at this point, it was about Backwoods Barbie, but they just need to leave Backwoods Barbie alone. I mean, they really need to just leave Backwoods Barbie alone. The Sun reported on it first in 2020. I did not know that. I did not know that. I don't know anything about the whole Amy taxes. I don't, guys. I don't. I mainly, whenever I was wanting to do this, and yes, I've been wanting to do it since I think Friday or maybe Saturday, but it takes me a while to edit. Okay, it takes me a while to edit, and then I also have to be outside with my horses, and then I also have kids, and I have a husband, and I have a house, and I have all this other stuff. So sometimes it takes me a long while to get to what I want to get to. But whenever I saw the live stream, thank you, Christy. Whenever I saw the live stream about Amy and about her sharing stuff, I wanted to show from the beginning all the way through. And then she posted those screenshots, and I honestly, guys, I don't know if they're real. I don't know if they're fake. That's not for me to. I don't know, but like I said, it was frustrating to me because I was trying to work out the timeline on when they actually quit being friends. And me trying to work out the timeline on when they quit being friends, I asked other creators if I could use, clips of their videos. I was doing everything right. And then this comes up. So now I have to change my whole entire mindset. So if she paid it off in 2019, then what is this big issue? See, here's the thing. I like to be a positive person. I really do. I like to be positive. I like to be upbeat. I like to be all of that. But just just the way this all went down, I was just like, the first word that comes to my mind was just vindictive towards Amy is what came to my mind and what I was thinking of, to be honest with you. I can't help it. That's just the way I started thinking about it when she started posting the stuff with Amy. And then whenever she started talking about Backwoods Barbie, and guys, some stuff, my opinion, and everything in this whole entire thing has been my opinion. That's what my banner says, and that's what it's always going to be. It's just my opinion when I do these kinds of lives. But whenever it comes down to it, do I think that Katie Joy was out of line? Yes. You heard Amy say that a while back. I think Katie Joy went a little too far in her live stream about Amy and about all that, and I wanted to show what led up to it all. I mean, you can make a video, or I can make a video of just like the second half of it where she's calling out Amy, but you're not getting, and unless I do the full live stream of from beginning to end, you don't know where the buildup is and how she gets to the point to where she gets to. That's why if there's, an hour long stream and then a 45-minute long stream, that's why I like to do both of them together. Yes, I know sometimes they can get boring. Yes, I know this, but I like to do them all together. So you see where it goes from she's, like I said, smiling and happy in the beginning of this. And then by the time it got back to Amy and it got down to Amy, she was no longer the smiling, laughing, she wasn't that person anymore. She turned into somebody completely different. And, people can say it was because she was drinking. People can say what they want to say. It completely changed. It really did. I have been saying for a while, Noel, and for a long, long time, I've been saying that Katie Joy is different depending on what platform she's on. And the reason why I do these Instagram lives and I post them and I do things like that, or I, comment on her Instagram post or I comment on her Twitter post or something like that. The reason why I do that is to show people on YouTube, this is who she is off of YouTube. You get to see her in her actual videos that she may upload, but she's edited those videos, so that's who you're seeing. But whenever she gets on Instagram live and she talks the way she talks and she acts the way that she acts, then people, me doing things like this brings it to YouTube and shows that, because like the last one I did, I think it was the last one I did, she said something along the lines of, yeah, I don't post this stuff to YouTube. And I've always asked, why does Katie Joy not post her Instagram lives to YouTube? I mean, if she would post them to YouTube, then she would get more views on YouTube because people would want to see, her Instagram lives. But that's not what Katie Joy does. So you have channels like mine out here that will actually post her Instagram lives onto YouTube and comment on them and things like that. And I do it just so that I can show people a different side of her. And that's that's just the reason why I do it. And people can say what they want to say about me. I never mean any ill intent or anything like that whenever I'm doing this. I always try to be nice and respectful. I don't make fun of Katie Joy. I don't do none of that stuff. But some of the things she says sometimes gets under my skin just a little bit. But usually I can laugh Katie Joy off. I really can. I can laugh her off, and I can just let her do what she needs to do, and I just say my comments on her, and then I just go on to the next thing, because that's what I think everybody needs to do with Katie Joy. I really do. I don't always get to watch Katie Joy's videos. I don't get all of Katie Joy's Instagram lives. I don't do things like that. But at the same time, when I do, I try to bring it to my audience, and I like to do the live streams on them, because then you get to see, this is just how I do things. It really, really is. But guys, we have been going on 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I want to thank absolutely every single one of y'all that were in here and with me throughout this whole entire ordeal. Thank you, Nikki, for moderating for me. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. And it's very nice when, I see my chat going along, and, everybody in my chat getting along and everybody having a good day. It means a lot to me. I really enjoy that. I enjoy that about my chat and my subscribers, and I really do enjoy that, because y'all have your own little conversations, and we don't really have that many people that have to be blocked and timed down, and we don't have that problem. So I'm very proud of I, I'm very proud of my subscribers. I'm very proud of my subscribers, and I have to say that every single one of y'all means so much to me. Y'all know that. I say that all the time. I say it in my comment section. I say it in my lives. I appreciate each and every single one of y'all. But Jordan's already came in here once, and so I'm gonna go in there with him for a little bit and just chit chat with him, because he was up all night. And then I'm going to go back out and be with my horses for a little bit, because I bought a big, huge bag of treats today. Yes, I did. And they're going to be in my pockets. Yep, they're going to be in my pockets. So my horses are going to be attacking me for treats. So I'm going to have such a fun time running through them from them. I really am, because they'll chase me down for treats. They really will. It's kind of fun. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Christy. I greatly appreciate it. But guys, I hope that y'all have a wonderful day, night, weekend, holiday, year, whenever you might be watching this. And y'all remember to smile today, or make somebody else smile, because it really can make a difference. Thank you, Nikki. And once again, I appreciate every single one of y'all for being here with me through all of this. And I hope y'all have a wonderful day. I got to try to go back and timestamp when she starts talking about Amy. That's going to be fun. But alrighty, guys, I hope that y'all have a wonderful one. All right. Bye, guys.